Hey everybody, it's Free to Play Bust. We're here with our second Budget Gauntlets. This week is Singleton, and we're going to be jumping in with this Demacia Bilgwater Scouts deck. It has another theme in it with the plunders, but kind of what we're doing here is the gauntlet this week is Singleton, so you can only include one copy of each card in your deck, and then with the budget restrictions we place on our free-to-play account here, we're only going to allow 4 champions and then 3 epics, then as many commons and uncommons as we see fit. So what we're trying to do here, it's the thing I kind of look at with this Singleton format, especially when there's only, the core set and one expansion, is that the control decks aren't going to be very good. The way, kind of control decks get molded is, number one, you need to kind of let the format evolve for a bit. And so with the first iteration of the Singleton format, I don't expect the control decks to be very well evolved. I'm sure they'll be there. I just don't think they'll be particularly good. And then the other thing with the control decks is that I don't think you can really get in enough high quality cards. Like if we're looking at a game like Hearthstone, where if we're playing against with the entirety of the card pool, Hearthstone has 7 or 8 years of sets, however long the game's been out, and so when it comes to for a Runeterra comparison, if we're wanting to make a deck with 3 Mystic Shots in it, in Hearthstone or Magic or whatever, there would be a pretty comparable set of cards. Like if we're looking at Magic and you want an effect like Shock, you're going to have Lightning Bolt and Magma Spray, just a wide variety of 1 mana damage-based removal spells. But that just doesn't really exist in Runeterra right now because the game is so new. And so if we're wanting to get a spell like Vengeance into our deck, there's not really a replacement for Vengeance. So if you're looking at your constructed counterpart that's playing, say, 3 Withering Wails, 3 Grasp of the Undyings, and 3 Vengeances, there's not really replacements for those. You might be able to play Piltover and get a Static Shock and a Chempunk Shredder for kind of the damage thing. You might be able to add in Ionia for some life gain if that's what you're really looking for out of those cards. But there's not really a density of, I need to replace Withering Wail with some kind of, AoE. There's just not a lot to choose from. And so I don't think the control decks are going to be very good. And so that kind of, leads us towards wanting to play an aggro deck. I'm not quite sure if the density of good aggro cards is here. It may be. I feel like there could be in Noxus or Noxus paired with Piltover. I don't know if you can really get a good Noxus elusive deck like is tearing through constructed right now with the cards we have, but that's kind of what we're expecting to show up on the aggro side of things. And so I'd like to take advantage of being stronger than those aggro decks, ignoring the control decks, and that should land us at this kind of mid-rangey deck that we're looking at here. We aren't looking to be the fastest deck in the world, but we should be able to outmuscle any deck that tries to be more aggressive than us. And so this is kind of what we've come at here. We've taken up all of the high-quality 1, 2, and 3 drops. Our 1 drops are basically just kind of what's here, but if you're used to my material from Expeditions, there is a lot of quality here in the Crackshot Corsair, the Fleet Feather Trekker. The Conservator is just a bit of card advantage. The Bull Shark is a good 1-drop as a kind of card advantage thing as well. This is just a pretty reasonable, aggressive set of units that, for the most part, also give us some value. Moving into the 2 drops, I think Hired Gun is one of the best. It may, in fact, be the best non-champion 2-drop in the game. It really, if it didn't have to compete with Elise and Lucian, it probably would be the best 2-drop in the game. And all of these 2s really play particularly well with the aggression that we're looking to pick up. And then our 3 drops tend to be more along the lines of value units. I feel like, if we're going to be bashing a lot of 3/3s into other 3/3s, then we should at least be picking up some card advantage out of the Redeemer and the Vanguard Sergeant. And then we can also pick up card advantage throughout the rest of our curve with, Grizzled Ranger making a unit, Island Navigator making a unit, getting 2 units out of the Silverwing Vanguard. And so I think this will work pretty well as a mid-rangey kind of strategy. The three epics that I chose were all up at the top end. Cytherea and Genvivi both play extremely well in this kind of aggro strategy, and then we have the one Bright Steel formation to just kind of close out our top end. Over on the spell side, we're playing all of the removal spells that are relevant and all the combat tricks that are relevant. So we're playing, Radiant Strike, Riposte back to back, and then we're playing both of the removal spells that exist in Demacia. We aren't playing the damage-based removal out of Piltover. I think it's just a little too weak for what we're trying to do here. I think these two big removal spells are probably enough for our deck. At the end of the run, we might find that we want the third one and want to pick up Scrap Shot. That's completely fine. I'm not playing Parlay either because the only real boost from Parlay is with Gangplank. And so I think this should turn out pretty good. I played a few practice games with this before I just canceled the run, but I was going on a pretty good run, but hadn't recorded it. I felt like I had enough experience with the deck to be confident to share it with you all, and so this is what we're going to take with the run here. This is our budget scouts deck with the 4 champions and just the 3 epics. And we're getting to it. Then, if you're interested in this deck, I'll have the code down in the description. Make a easy deck load for you. Otherwise, have fun going and picking out all 40 cards individually. Okay, the old Freylord Bilgwater. I assume this is kind of trying to lean on the raiding party theme with Gangplank Sejuani, and Articuno plays well with Powder Kegs. But here we need to get rid of these expensives. We could consider keeping Jawl Hunters, but I'm still really just looking for the 1 and the 2 drops here. We'll probably pick up a 3-drop along the way, so it's not ultra important to hang on to that. Here I'm just going to be as aggressive as we can. I think I can try reloading the deck after this. I had Blitz up with my we hit. I was gonna say there's quite a few units that this can't actually shouldn't be able to interact with our Cytherea here. But nonetheless, this is okay. Oh yeah, but I was saying Blitz messed up, or maybe this is what Blitz is supposed to be. That's the enemy deck. I don't know why this is just sitting over here now, but it was Blitz was pretty upset with the Singleton format. It made it down to some of the 3-drops, so I mean it's not a super relevant thing to be tracking here. Here we're gonna open with Valor. If he has a removal spell or something, that's fine. But this would have set us up for a pretty good turn next turn, to where we could open with Valor, then expect our opponent to play some kind of unit, which we could hopefully Hired Gun, and then we'd have access to both Pool Shark and Hired Gun. But here I'm just going to lead with the Pool Shark, see if we can't get a good vulnerable here. We might just have to kind of give up on attacking with the spot that we're in. No, this is fine. I'm okay to go ahead and put some damage onto his Hired Gun, so if he wants to hook our Pool Shark next turn, then we have a he'll only be getting a trade out of it. Brom's a bit awkward. We're going to have to play our misfortune here. We can't let this just go away. So we'll accept that he's going to get a good Brom turn. He's going to get the 3/3 out of this. It's going to set us kind of far behind, but hopefully we can start getting some good action out of our scouts on our next attack. And here I want to bank this spell mana. It's not so much I don't want to play this for no value, as much as I want to play the Ranger next turn and have access to Make It Rain. Okay. Is this just a cycle? This Braum block is no good. I want to go ahead and Make It Rain now so that he doesn't have an opportunity to play. Oh, hang on. Does he get the opportunity to play a Take Heart here? Take Heart would be pretty brutal for us. I don't think we can beat it. So I still think this Badger Bear attack is good. If we just take this down to 1 health, it's okay. He's never making this block. But this also ticks up our misfortune, so we can hopefully get flipped attacks out of her next turn. That was a pretty reasonable draw. This Braum gonna be flipping. Okay, so we have the choice if we want to actually detain here. I don't think we want to actually play units. I think like his Ash attack isn't particularly good because I mean she's going to pop Misfortune. Braum is going to hook this. Then we're going to take a big set of damage. I think we should play the Butcher so we can try to get a trade on this thing. Then we'll just eat the 5 from Ash. Okay, cool. If all goes according to plan here, we should be getting our flipped Misfortune attacks in next turn. Is this trigger? I think we're good to attack with both of these. So he's got a Frostbite. That's okay. Oh, sure, same thing. Okay, and these attacks here should be particularly scary for him. So flip our Misfortune, so she'll be doing the triple damage thing. He kind of needs to block with Ash, but doesn't really want to. Okay. Alright, good deal. We do run into some issues. If he's playing Tryndamere, like if he plays a Tryndamere or something, we kind of have a bit of trouble with it. But we should be in a pretty reasonable spot next turn with this Vanguard. Right, if he just plays like an expensive unit here, then we have great hooks and big damage coming in. Oh boy, how bad is that? Alrighty. We just dead? I don't know how those mathematics work out. Okay, but I think we can still deal with this. Are we cool with just accepting we're going to lose Gangplank? Because we have to block this. We don't necessarily have to get it off board, but we can just block it. I think we need to play the Vanguard. That sucks, because then we can't play 2 units next turn. We couldn't play 2 units next turn anyways. But I really don't want to play Gangplank and just let this thing come through. This is close. We died to just any combat trick, but he's already played his +4/+4, so he shouldn't be able to kill us. So let's just play the Gangplank. We're just going to eat this. I think we're safe to just take it. He's already played Parlay. I don't think he has any ways to just deal damage. So we'll risk it. I think we're going to have much more success if we Vanguard Challenger and 4 Demacia. Or maybe we can also Gen Vivi and Protege. Because Gen Vivi does answer both of his units, and then it lets us present lethal. Right? It'd be 6, 9? Okay. Let's see how bad this goes. He's got something here. There's no way he just passes here without playing units. He's going to get harsh winced or something. Sure. But this is still pretty manageable. I guess the scary thing with falling to 1 is as if he plays some kind of big overwhelm. Like if we can't, like we might have to 4 Demacia next turn if he plays like Alpha Wildclaw or something. I think this is pretty okay. I mean, it seems like he's contemplating playing a unit, or he probably just has, say, like 2 expensive cards. Say, like he has Alpha Wild Claw plus Harsh Winds or something. I think if he had Harsh Winds, though, he would just snap pass it back. But I mean, this should be fine, right? We'll hook Ripped Hedrex with Jin Vivi. We'll hook Braum with this. And then if he wants to battle with this with Gangplank, then he can. Take heart, sure. Also, just pretty good attack next turn, but it's at least not lethal. Unless he plays a unit here. If he plays a unit here, then we're in trouble. Oh, brutal. Brutal. Alright, let's see if we hit. Nope. Alrighty, you got it, buddy. I just realized I have my sound going through my speakers. I don't know. I don't think that translates. It looks like OBS isn't moving. Let me switch the game sound over to my headset. Okay, there it goes. Sorry about that. Missing all the sweet game musics and the sweet emote sounds. Okay. Alright, so again, we're just looking for more cheap plays. Reasonable start. Oh, there it is. The blitz fixed itself. Cuts off the Vanguard Sergeant. Not particularly expecting us to be playing 40 card decks.
What's that noise?
Can pass on that.
I must get out of here.
Success gets you noticed around here.
I think here, I mean, we can start just kind of building up width against this. He's kind of in a spot to where he doesn't like super want to be playing units behind this.
Where do you stand on cold shots?
And if he does have units, we can still we can still make things happen here. Sure.
Watch this.
It'll only be unfortunate if he has like a Callista to play behind. Sure. That's completely fine with me. We're pretty far ahead of him on board. We're going to be getting doubled up units with the Navigator, doubled up units with Quinn, or we can get doubled up units with this Vanguard Sergeant if we want and just have an open with Quinn next turn. I think this is pretty fine. I don't really want to miss out on our card advantage when these cards aren't spectacular, and this is an awful scrub here. Looks like a great way to pick up a 1/1 ephemeral. We're gonna get okay. This is fantastic for us. because now we can kill this thing with a hook.
Can't win.
Could have considered putting the 2 damage in front of it and making it rain, but
Demacia needs heroes.
I think I'm happy with this. We can still interact with the 3 if he has it. And we also have the Make It Rain Twisted Fate combo if we need to try to AoE a bunch of 2-drops. I think it's a little aggressive to be spending that. Let's see. This feels like a pretty safe
Still
Quinn
heart,
attack.
steady aim.
If he has, like the only Shadow Isles is +2/+2, he's spent his Black Spear already, and if he has a like a big damage thing, then we can try to just actually hit it with Make It Rain. So we might miss here. We'll hit this 75% of the time, or however that math works out. It's close enough. I don't think that's how the math works, but oh, perfect, perfect.
Just like hunting thresher geese.
All right. All around pretty happy with this, because we're getting to the point to where, you know, if he wants to play big units, then we can red card it, or gold card it, whatever the stun a big boy is, and then still just have incredible width to get through here. Have the detain. I think we have all the tools we need to win this one.
One girl wrecking crew.
We want to just go ahead and detain Vi. He's not going to play anything behind. And then we'll get a free open attack with Quinn, so she should be definitely flipping next turn. Or do we just want to gold card her? I don't think we want to gold card it because we need to open with Quinn. Let's wait till he attacks before we do this.
Here's the fun part. Eat this.
Interesting choice. Uh-oh. Oh, Quinn. Okay. We're still doing fine. I'm going to start with the Navigator here. We can get doubled up on Quinn. Or on Quinn, on Misfortune.
I'm still like a yodel in uniform.
Fortune favors the bold.
The ocean is no place for the weak.
So we kind of have a decision if we're willing to trade, just, you know, trade our 2 scouts for his 2 units. We won't even trade because the Spiderling here will just die to Misfortune. I think this is fine.
Always forward.
This block doesn't really look right. Unless he just plans on sacrificing this to something. But if he's making a sacrifice play with this, that's not how he needs to spend his mana this turn to win the game. Okay, he's really intent on me not hooking his units.
Love ya.
Blessed is motion.
And we need to let these hang behind. I don't want him getting his unit back with this. Yeah, this is great. We still have a scout for next turn.
Return
We
me to the sea.
have everything we need.
Pick your poison.
I prefer to play Gangplank after he attacks, but this is kind of awkward because I assume that he just never attacks here. Okay. Well, I mean, he has a reason to attack now. Okay. We can let all this happen and play Gangplank after.
Not in my joint. Stronger than I thought. Oh.
This doesn't
And then
change a damn thing between
That's
us.
awkward. I kind of do want to attack. You know, I kind of want to open on him, but I think we need to just get in with the one guy.
This is awesome.
Because you know, we're going to be powder kegging this Misfortune here, but I think getting this this flipped Misfortune hit in is a little more valuable than trying to boost that by 1. I guess this does open us up to getting hit by like the Ruination or something. think this is okay. This should be a bad block unless he has an answer to powder keg. I guess this is his only real source of damage, though.
You've concerns, dude. What's the wares?
Okay, works for me.
Mwah.
So yeah, I mean, if he has like the ruination, we're kind of hosed, but otherwise, I think this should just be over. Okay. Pretty sure we can beat the heroine. So, I mean, how do we see this working? If we red card, he's just going to lose one blocker, and then we should be guaranteed to get in for 2. Then Gangplank will get in for 2, and then, or I mean, I guess the other option is to just try and, or I was thinking, hang on, yeah, we can just red card this. Then these blocks aren't particularly good. I think this does it. Because this will have 2 on it, he's going to take, this is going to have 1 health, and the Gangplank will push through. Yeah, this is fine.
Hey, TF. How's the partner?
Pretty good. Quit smoking.
Oh, just fake quit smoking. Good on you, buddy. Familiar with that struggle.
Outplayed.
The free-to-play bus tip of the day. Don't smoke. Smoked for a solid 15 years. At least did quit before COVID, so one of the perks. All right, this is so strange playing these constructed games, because it's like we play the game, we win, and I'm like, all right. That was our first win. Let's get that champion pick. Ready for some trades. I want to double up on these misfortunes. Okay. Well, easy game. Sure. Knew what he was running into and just said, that's too much for me. It's too much for me. Oh, it didn't count. Okay. That must have been some kind of disconnect or something. Okay. Over Ionia. So let's see. I think this is reasonable. Make It Rain should be good against their combination of cards. They have a lot of value-heavy 1 toughness units, and we'll open with Cythria. I doubt he'll play a unit behind, but she gives us the most opportunity to shut down his combats.
We playing bilge rules, son?
Here, this should be fine. I mean, we can't just sit around and hope that we don't draw a 5-drop next turn. We can play the majority of our deck off of this pool shark.
Captain's orders. Spring does not pity winter.
Okay.
So soon.
The world's a big place. Let's see all
Okay.
of it.
So we can't Ezreal this, and I'm pretty okay to just let the Shell Shocker go. Because I want to play Badger Bear here, and then I want to get the double attack in next turn.
Watch and learn.
We could have considered it if we
That's
really
gotta
wanted to make it rain next turn, to just play the Shell Shocker. But I don't think we're really giving up on a big value card here. I think I still want to get into the Warden.
woods as they protect us.
Like, you just like never wants to block with Ezreal here, right?
Take from the rich.
Sure, this thing never wants to block either.
He smells something.
I've got us covered.
consider getting in with Pool Shark. I just don't think that's real high value. Like if the Ezreal hit comes in, he's going to want to hit this. My thing with wanting to hit with Pool Shark is being able to Silverwing Vanguard next turn, though. I think this is actually okay. We won't risk the Corsair though. He's still just putting in his work on the bench. Okay.
Save me, Luke! It's not bragging if you could back it up.
Okay. This is not an ultra scary Mystic Shot. I mean, we can lose Crack Shot Corsair or something else. Let's see what he hits. I can't imagine he just passes back with 8 mana without spending his active Mystic Shot. Okay, so I mean we're gonna lose our board. The question starts to become: do we want to just open kill Ezreal next turn, or do we want to make a bigger value play with Grizzled Ranger? And I think we just want to go with the Grizzled Ranger. So this is fine. We're going to keep our Pool Shark. We'll see what this can pull off.
Slow down, will you?
Right, because he never wants to block here again. Oh, that's...
Here we go.
It's tempting. It's tempting to just do it.
Just keeping the peace.
Okay. I mean, we can down as Ezreal here. I'm half tempted to just Black Market Merchant, but what happens if we play Vanguard, hook both of his guys, then we're 2 damage short. 1 damage short if we consider we have a Make It Rain in our hand. I think I'm more interested in... Well, this will be a good Make It Rain here. I think this is fine, so we can still merch it and see what we hit.
Don't ask where it's from, ask how much.
Not exactly what we were looking for, but it could be good here. Let's see if he's got that electrostatic shock.
Watch this.
Okay, that one works for me. I mean, this Solitary Monk is a little better than I was given it credit for when we consider we have Pool Shark and Black Market Merchant in play. Yeah, we can make this work.
Where there is life, there is hope.
We can take damage if he decides to attack. This is not a big
and
deal.
silent as the breeze.
Assembly bot, demeditation. Okay. I think we've ground through this one. I'm pretty sure just picking up all this value here is going to be too much for him to deal with. Okay.
Yeah, I'm up.
Where do you stand on cold shots?
Okay, this is fine.
There's blood in the water.
Only
Oh,
I
gross.
can quell the wind.
Okay. Well, I think we just need to go for the damage play. He can hang on to his karma. We're just too close to killing him to try to make this trade. If we were going to be in some kind of like grindy value game, then I would be okay with just trying to pop in on karma, but I don't think it's necessary here. Let's give this a turn. I mean, maybe we should have just made the riposte play here, but there's just so many ways for him to make that go wrong. getting all these flash of brilliances, bro? We're supposed to be playing Singleton here. Karma make one of these? They don't have any indicator over here. Okay.
Vessel small, but she ain't lacking courage.
Sea monster into another elusive.
Step lightly.
Stare at the abyss. It'll stare back.
I think this is okay.
Heart and mind as one.
This is, again, I don't quite want to just open here, but our scout attacks aren't particularly good, even though it does mean getting karma off the board. And so, let's do it like
Tread
this,
lightly, strike hard.
this,
Going harvesting.
this. We should probably trail now. Yeah. Okay. He can, like, healing potion out of this. He has some ways to get out of this, but I think we're okay here. He hasn't given up yet, so he's doing something.
What seems to be the problem?
Okay. Just playing cards. That's too bad. We can't riposte through this one. Alright, well, let's protect our sea monster. We can't bring down karma. And I think this is okay.
Warden down.
In my opinion, this karma is actually much less scary now. He's pretty low on cards. He didn't get to double up like Flash of Brilliances. I think this is okay. We'll just get this down so we can block these guys that we really don't want to be just directly hitting. I'd prefer him to attack before we play Gangplank again, although I think we're just going to be playing Gen VV. Okay. So here, I'm going to play the Bright Steel now, because he wants to attack with this. He wants to get this card draw in, and we can deal with this next turn with Gen VV. We don't need to play Gangplank here. He's not going to be able to pound through this board.
Jenny?
That.
Okay. So he's out of mana, so we just win the game here, right?
I'm always up for a round or two.
Alright, good game, friend.
Outplayed.
Only 2 wins. That disconnect should totally count. That's what we're here for, right? It's not here to have fun and play games. It's here to get free disconnect wins. Okay. So we definitely want to get rid of this. I don't think I particularly want to keep single combat. We don't have an answer to Elise. He's not playing the cheaper champions. He's playing Fizz, but who cares? Like, he's not playing Lucians. I think that's fine to get rid of. I think we can get rid of this 3 as well. kind of one of our low value threes unless we have misfortunes and the like. Okay, it's certainly a start. Okay.
I gotta get out of here.
Okay, here I want the Blinding Assault. I'm assuming he's going to play something that we can, potentially hook and get a good value, make it rain out of, like a good make it rain Jagged Butcher turn is what I'm kind of hoping for here. Until he plays like Cursed
There's
Keeper.
plenty of killing left.
That's fine.
Strange glow.
Didn't know the boss had
Oh,
said for
okay.
you.
Don't know much, do
So we
you?
could start with this now. I'm on board with that. Interesting.
You started without me. Let's get to it.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Clear off.
That was a strange set of plays. I guess it does kind of suck when you're playing Warden's Prey and you pick up the Caustic Cask, because that's a card that you just kind of never want to hit. But all in all, this seems pretty fine. I'm getting kind of leery of just dropping Vanguard Sergeants because we're going to have a really big set of just one-drops. And kind of the play I would like to make is just reposting this Valor. And so I think I want to play Pull Shark. We're going to try to bank this 3 spell mana and then give him the opportunity to play some big units that we can just dome with Valor. And that plan did not happen. Brood Awakening's a real problem for our style of deck. Okay, I don't think we're ever going to get a better Pull Shark.
What's that you got there?
We can take a hit. My kind of thinking here is I kind of want to get rid of some of this before, say, like Callista Thresh has the opportunity to show up, because he's going to be getting in for his Gangplank hits anyways. But we're really kind of looking for, like, how can we turn this around, and it involves with like Misfortunes or Twisted Fates. I think this has to be okay.
Poor thing.
But he's definitely the advantage here. This Brood Awakening was huge against us. Like, if he was going tall here, we would annihilate him, but him going wide with Brood Awakening was pretty painful. Okay. Well, there's at least a guy that can do battle here. Okay. It's not ideal, but it's fine. We're really having a tough time being the aggro here, and so him to spend a whole turn on a Grizzled Scourge is fine, since we're definitely in a pretty good spot to deal with big stuff. It's just little stuff that's the problem here. We don't care about this attack, but this is happening. These still aren't exciting. I'm going to go ahead and get the Grizzled Ranger on board. It'll at least, chip away at one of these and give us a big unit for our trouble.
Always forward.
Okay. That's interesting. my thinking here is like, you know, we can get a real good for Demacia here in 2 turns, and I think that's what we need to build up to. We just really aren't doing anything this turn. The question becomes like, how good is it if we just for Demacia on these 3 units? Like this guy can hook here. You assume these 2 block into these 2. He can play 1 card. We still have Valor, and then I think this is okay. If we need to go big on anything, we can still go big with like this Vanguard and Riposte, and I think this just gets us so ultra close to lethal with him having no board that we need to just go for it. We do have still have the mana to play a Radiant Strike should we need to this turn. Like if he tries to, we play for Demacia, he tries to Withering Wail, we can still protect our Valor.
Courage, soldier.
Oh, fresh soil.
It's not ideal, but it gives us, does, you know, give us a lot of protection from what he's doing.
I
I
suppose.
think this is fine. Not you. Not you. Interesting, because I mean, it's going to die, but I was really kind of had my mindset on hooking this guy next turn. And this does kind of give us some protection in this combat as well. I think we're going to have trouble getting a better Radiant Strike than this. It just kind of falls off completely here in the late game.
Show them our metal.
Give them a chance!
Okay. But, I mean, we've got a pretty reasonable board state here. And, you know, we can kind of do this big thing next turn to where we just Vanguard Sergeant, hook whatever he plays, and then get in for 11. Pretty close to just killing him. I don't think it's what we're going to need to do, but... Okay. You don't just die to the Harrowing, right? He has a lot of bad cards here. Oh god, it has to suck the Harrowing into Powder Keg. Does this have Challenger? That's awkward. So we need to play you,
We
though.
protect these woods as they protect us.
At least kind of forces this to hook here if he wants to gain the life off of Darkwater Scourge.
This is our way. Blessed is Moshan.
And like, what things do we even have to worry about here? Is him having like Atrocity, like some kind of big Atrocity play? Seems like the only thing that we'd be potentially frightened of if we're going to eat this 5. But I think eating this 5 is still just okay. He's not going to have a board, and then we can add on the Silverwing. And we can also just go ahead and repost our Greathorn Companion next turn. I think this is fine. Okay.
What brings you here?
You will not prevail.
More where that came from.
Something to keep us moving.
Really intent on keeping this poor up. Do we want to single combat this? So that we can open with this on a riposte and then play the Vanguard next turn? I like this. It does hurt if he has a Vengeance, but I have to feel like if he had a Vengeance, he would have played it by this point.
He smells something.
I guess we maybe should have spread the damage out to the scout unit, so we'd have 2, you know, more damage to go across, but I don't feel like it's going to matter here.
frog if you work, run if you don't.
Should probably go ahead and Vanguard. We're pretty hosed if he has Withering Wail, but I think we're still in that same kind of spot where if he, if he had the Withering Wail or the Vengeance, he would have already played it.
Another day in paradise.
Awkward, but we can still get in for enough damage. Which two is he going to want to block? We're gonna hook these two, so he has to put the Collector in front of one of our real units. Is that how we want to go about this? Yeah. So you, these three. Powder keg, this thing, this thing.
What a waste.
Okay. Probably should have hooked the powder keg over here. Well, you'd get the point off of it then. I don't know. It turned out okay. I think it turned out okay. That's what I don't really like being results oriented, but that's the classic response for winning a game is, oh, I guess that turned out okay. Okay. So let's see. I mean, we're certainly getting rid of Bright Steel, or I should say the Bright Steel formation. This is a bit awkward because this is not a unit that we ever want to be hitting with Bright Steel Protector. I don't think we need to hold on to Pilfered Goods, but we should at least hold on to a curve here. Combo. Look at that combo. Valor makes this Bright Steel Protector pretty good. Assuming he never blocks with Teemo here.
Swiftly.
Okay.
Adventure starts with mushrooms.
Again, we do have to kind of fade to make it rain here, but we at least have a protection on this, and then for next turn he's just going to eat a bunch of damage.
Coming in hot!
Okay.
My shield is yours.
No, I think we should have done this the other way, because I can. Okay, yeah, the radiant. I was going to say we can radiant through this, like on the Teemo hit. So we should have definitely hit the Grenadier. He did have card, but yeah, because then could have protected our scout for another turn. Okay. See if he plays cards and we hit an Afori Conspirator. These are the big time plays I like to make around here.
Take from the rich, give to me.
Dangerous waters.
Nope, not this time.
Try to understand. I matter, you don't.
Alright, works for me.
They'll never know what hit them. Size doesn't mean everything.
Okay. We have 7, so we can just do everything. But we want to get the tracker down first. It's kind of awkward, but we want to be following up with Misfortune.
ones
Sure.
the wiser. Fortune favors the bold.
The ocean is no place for the weak.
All right. There's the misfortune we've come to know and love.
That's how we do things in Bilgwater.
Okay. Casual villain. I'm sure he's playing the budget restrictions too. For Champions 3 epics, that's all you get. But here, this is pretty similar to the last one. The Cutthroat isn't quite as good here, because it's not going to start kicking off our gangplanks and our plunders until the second turn. But all in all, it's still pretty reasonable. I'm going to start with Cythria. It's the most aggressive
New
one.
recruit reporting in.
And it also gives us a bunch of options next turn. If we want to play the 2 1s or a 2. Awkward. I think we want to just go with the 1s. The thing that would be kind of unfortunate is if he says plays the warships here.
There's a chill in the
Lucian
air.
works.
I'll do my best.
And I'm pretty ready to just throw the scout right.
Confine and contain.
Taking the 3 damage here isn't a huge deal, especially when we have Misfortune down.
No room for
I
doubt.
think we actually probably do want to just take this. Just be threatening big bunches of damage next turn. She should be pretty safe to play here.
No prey, no pay.
If he wants to, Noxus blast Lucian into Misfortune, I guess that's a 2-for-1 that we're okay with. Sure. Why would he pick this? I would think that this would be the much higher value target. That's interesting. Let's deal with this Lucian. Or at least try to. Well, there is a good chance that we'll get to flip her next turn if we play this. I think we're okay with this Lucian.
Dangerous waters.
He hasn't hit anything yet, and we can also just...
I helped build this
that thing's
empire.
awkward. Alright, so let's keep our good unit to keep ticking up our Misfortune.
I've
Want
embarrassed
to keep the
both
scout in
twice
case we
your
want to
size.
make a play with it next turn. Yeah, I still think most of these attacks are going to be happening. He's not going to want to block with his Vanguard Sergeant or whatever this thing's called on any of these Legion Veteran.
Is this the death you imagined? Too damn soon.
This doesn't quite count as attacking, right? I get my keywords mixed up in the various games on how that kind of ability actually works. This is okay. Let's let him go ahead and attack. He's had to set this Blade's Edge, which is a touch awkward, but
War Mason,
not a huge
reporting
deal.
for duty. For the glory of Noxus.
I mean, technically we could just concerted strike this Katarina and then plan on opening next turn. What do we think of that? I think this kind of unit is okay. I don't think the game is really going to come down to him getting a bunch of rallies. I'm more worried about the solution than I am this Katarina. But I don't quite feel like I care enough about these units. I think like we probably want to play something. Let's just go ahead and let him attack. Sure. He spent a lot of resources on this Prowling Cutthroat.
It's just a nick.
Strength and grace,
Okay.
beauty in the
This should stop him from attacking with Lucian.
This is
Nope. So you can have a Radiant or an Elixir if we really want to get into battle with this. I don't think we care that much. Let's just get a block here, take 5, go to 10. he does. No, he's not playing Darius. I saw Noxus assumed everybody was playing Infinite Champions and he was going to have Darius. But I think this is okay.
They'll never know what killed him.
Interesting. All right, well,
I
feels
gotta
like a
show
pretty
you the
top-notch
sights of
draw.
Bilgwater. The sights are fine. The smells, on the other hand. Noxian War Beast! Let's give him a Demacian welcome. Love ya. Val!
I don't quite know how this interaction actually works. I don't think this counts as misfortune dealing damage to this thing. But like, I'm pretty sure we want to hook and kill this and then stop. We should be able to deal with this thing next turn.
No regrets, no mercy.
Never sure with this game if like this kind of ability counts as like a unit actually doing damage. the animation comes from way the fuck down here and not from Misfortune herself. So who knows? Okay. What do we think about just Winter's Breathing this? We're pretty close to just killing him, but I think this Winter's Breath is probably going to be better next turn. So I think I just want to add units. Grizzled Ranger's fine. We can take a big hit out of this and not worry about it too much. This is probably a good time to Concerted Strike.
Quit your yapping.
Can't Katarina us, though we can Katarina next turn. He's out of mana. I know we can't take this thing down with Concerted Strike, so let's just take this one. He doesn't have mana, so we can just kill it.
Patience makes
Strike
perfect.
an enemy, choose an ally, choose another ally. Sure.
Stronger together!
Take my helmet. Beamer.
Okay, yeah, so the only thing that particularly worries me here is him playing a Katarina behind. And so I think this is the good spot to Winter's Breath. So he can play Katarina, but the only scary thing about this Katarina is him having this this big Overwhelm unit. And then we're also, I mean, we're going to be hitting for 6 damages off of these Misfortunes, so we don't need a whole lot of units for these attacks to be successful. He kind of has to block these right from the get-go, and then we'll have big follow-up attacks as well. I think we can hold back on playing this for the moment. Well, actually, this probably could be important to protect Quinn. I don't think we'll need it. I think this game's just over with his 4 mana.
Blood for Noxus!
But I'm pretty sure this is just okay.
Shield up!
Can't imagine this is how you ever win the game.
Always forward.
Try me.
Alright, let's see if this thing takes damage. How about that? Oh, 4 less power though. Oh, that's 4. Okay.
No going
Oh,
back.
this is Alright, so
Time for violence.
you.
Still heart, steady aim.
Alright. Good game, friend.
Fortune smiles.
All the Champions Part 2. The Freylord Demacia edition. Okay. It's not quite as aggressive as I would like, but I still think against like Freylord, we're going to be pretty happy to have access to Make It Rain. We'll be getting some damage in with these kind of units. He's not going to want to make this attack ever. So well, I can be wrong sometimes.
You'll go no
We
far.
can go ahead and take it.
Contain magic.
It might have been a little aggressive, but when they're playing like these Sejuanis, I guess he's only playing Sejuani and not Sejuani Gangplank.
I'll shoot the wings off a Bilgwater. Finger on the trigger.
Well, at least from an aggressive standpoint, it worked out.
Up and at 'em.
And I'm going to go ahead and try to make this trade. This can be quite unfortunate if he has a Brittle Steel. But like, how much can we sit around and try to play around Brittle Steels? I guess he could have Brittle Steel or Radiant or any of the other one mana combat tricks. But I was placing a lot of value on this attack happening as an open and being able to play the Black Market Merchant.
United, nothing can
We
stop
don't
us.
have a lot that we can actually do here.
Don't ask where it's from. Ask how much.
That's interesting. We can actually activate this thing.
Can't hide from me.
Will we want to is kind of a different story, but we can do it. It's looking more and more reasonable, especially, oh man, how fast, this is fast. Okay. Maybe, I mean, this is probably better served as just a Make It Rain.
Fill the valley.
But I mean, we have the option here to either Make It Rain or we can double up on this thing, make this guy big, and then deal with this thing next turn. I think this just seems so much better. We'll eat the 4 here, and then we can try to hook this thing down next turn. I like it. I like it, boys.
Neither the flames nor the depths can claim me. The War Mother will unite us all. Warm greetings to you, brothers. My cause is righteous. You have no alibi.
It should be obvious that that something is up here, but might as well see if we can't pull off some
Who
shenanigans.
goes there?
That's fine. He can't add to the board after this. We still get this Make It Rain in. We should have attacked with the Corsair as well. He's just absolutely never blocking the Corsair. Well, I guess he does. If he doesn't have the combat trick here, then he has a pretty reasonable block on it.
Protect Demacia.
Definitely need to be closing this one out, though. His units are just all bigger than ours. He should have a giant monster from this. Assume what happened was he drew that Fury of the North that turn, and that's why he didn't just play a big unit.
Fresh is worth at least twice as much.
I think it's okay.
This is our home.
Interesting. This seems overly aggressive.
Credit denied.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
All right.
Virtue guides me.
Don't think he'll be expecting the sea monster to come down.
Beast or ship?
does cause some problems. But we can concerted strike him next turn. Or hang on, we still have the lethal here with these two. If he's out of mana, okay, so we just win. So we can do you boys come out here. Okay.
I've got us
Good game.
covered.
Look out for reavers.
Rip. Okay. We up to that final battle, boys? We love getting to the final battle. Final battle. See, the key is to play the budget deck. I'm sure that's what this guy's doing as well. No more than 3 epics in his deck, only 4 champions. Alright, so good to keep the tracker. This other expensive and interactive stuff can get out of here. This is not a good start. Not the type of hand we're looking to take into the final battle, but I think we're okay.
Another day in the field. They'll never know what hit them.
Okay.
There's enough for everyone.
He banks 2, that is a little scary. I mean, I guess, you know, the electrostatic shock is the only, like, huge punish here. You're interesting, but I think I still want to stay mana efficient here.
Blood and guts, gold
Banking
and
the spell
glory.
mana is not a huge deal in this deck. I've hit really well with this thing today.
Fell into him.
Yep, that's fine with me. This is not a particularly scary Teemo. There is not enough density of puff caps and
Can see the Demacia border from here.
Singleton for this to be scary to me.
Armed and ready.
Oh boy, oh boy. Okay.
Alert the village.
How much do we want to care about this Teemo? Like, it's here, it's doing stuff, but I don't particularly care about it. I guess, I mean, if we're really intent on making it happen, we can hire gun here. We can also black market merchant, and then next turn we can make the decision between the Vanguard and the Grizzled Ranger. Okay, this is fine with me. Him not adding to this board is pretty good for us, especially seeing that static shock go while we have Vanguard in our hand and all these other one-cost units. Oh, we sniped his Mystic Shot? We are good at this game.
All
This is
right,
fine.
let's mess some folks up. Time to get rowdy.
Is he going to invest more in this Teemo? Like, this is just not a game-winning Teemo. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he has a set of cards he's going to burst into us from his hand, but... Alright, let's get this over with. I have a hard time believing we'll get a better Mystic
Time
Shock
to
than
make
that.
the coin.
And then if he wants to take the damage to trade Omen Hawk for this thing, I think we're okay with it. We're sitting on all of this high quality removal in our hand, and so I think we need to just go for the damage and not worry about the value block or the value attack we could get out of the Omen Hawk being there. I believe we want to start with this.
Patience.
Oh boy, the fireworks are starting. for how many of you listeners are in America. it's that time of year. Alright, this is likely good enough to just do it. Like, he can play another unit and then we can still just get in for infinite. Alright, there you have it. Nice little 7 winner. Okay. Give us all that EXP, and what do we get? Some kind of card back or icon or something? Yeah, did it. What do we get? What is this? I don't know what this is. Is it in the rewards? It's not here. Is it home? What's this? The one for doing it? What is this? The icon? I like the icon I have. This girl's ready to do some mathematics and do some teaching. That's what we're all about here. Okay, I guess we get some kind of thing. Cool. Well, hey, there you have it. I'll pull up the deck list again here real quick. So yeah, it's not a bad run with our little budget deck here. I'm pretty sure we just 7-0'd that one. Did we maybe lost the first game, so maybe we went 7-1 with it. But nonetheless, it's pretty decent run. We're pretty happy with how this turned out. I feel like all of our expeditions really kind of help with crafting this kind of deck as opposed to someone coming from a constructed background. And so while I was at the disadvantage last week, I feel like we kind of have an advantage this week, because this is kind of a lot of what we're coming across in expeditions is, you're kind of doing the best with what you've got. But nonetheless, I think this the Misfortune and Twisted Fate are two of the most powerful champions we can be playing. In my opinion, as we talked about when I initially brought the deck up, was that the control decks are probably terrible. We might run into a lot of aggro decks to where things like Misfortune, Twisted Fate, and I think we had some other kind of AoE card. Oh, Make It Rain. Like, cards like that are going to be particularly good because we should be running into a lot of 1 health units. They are particularly good against us, as we saw there, a lot of games where we're like, well, we'll just get blown out by Withering Whale, but they can only have 1 copy, so we can probably go for it. And then, the Gangplank was fine and the Quinn was fine. These are more kind of like build-around cards, but they are pretty reasonable at our top end. If you don't have access to these champions, you could easily slot in, like a Radiant Guardian. Oh gosh, I clicked a button. You could easily slot in like a Radiant Guardian, or just kind of any of the big units, like Savage Reckoner would be okay. We were just playing, Cytherea, Gen VV, Brightsteel. These are all fine. But, even if we were just playing like the 5/4 Challenger from Demacia, it would have turned out okay. And yeah, I mean, this was fine. We did have some awkward draws to where, we draw Shell Shocker and can't do a whole lot with it, but I mean, he's a fine 1-drop, so what more do we want? And other than that, I think we crafted this pretty well. The challengers were all very good. The Fleet Feather Tracker, the Blinding Assault, Hired Gun, Protege, Jaw Hunters, like the Challenger package in here was pretty good, and that does help get our crappy dudes through into combat to deal some more damage. And one of the big things we talk about being Silverwing Vanguard is where, we're kind of cruising along and winning all these combats, and our board's getting wider and wider, and our opponent's having less and less stuff. And then when we get to the spot where our opponent just wants to start going tall and playing their like 5 and 6 drops, Silverwing Vanguard really shines in those situations to where, your opponent has no board, they play something on 5, we play Silverwing Vanguard on 5, and then just open up and, hook in their 1 good unit. It's like, yes, we aren't getting value out of this, but the value doesn't matter if we win the game. And so, yeah, I was pretty happy with this. I was pretty happy with the amount of card advantage between things like Pool Shark, the Merchant, Pilfered Goods. Jaw Hunters was spectacular this run. We were deep 0 times, and all of the sea monsters that we hit were just incredible. We might have got lucky with that. I know we hit the Flame Tongue Kavu twice. We hit that -2 attack guy once, and then we actually hit the one of the cheaper ones, the elusives, when we hit it when elusives really counted. So I mean, Jaw Hunters really carried his weight in this run, but he was pretty good. But yeah, hey, I'm happy with this deck. If you try it out yourself and have some updates or comments, be sure to let me know down in the comments. I'll try to get around to all of those. And hope you guys enjoyed the run, learned something along the way. This is Free to Play Bust, and I thank you for being here.